RETA, they do the thing and they push us to a map number 3 after a 13-10 win on that map of Lotus. And honestly, for me at least, the expectations were not high about that map, but RETA, they were able to have a dominant first half with an 8-4, and then going into the second half, a little bit of back and forth between the two, a fake comeback happening for M80 Roy, but at the end, it is the heroics to take a massive part in closing it out for RETA.
Absolutely, and this is kind of the RETA that we like to see, right? This is the charm of this team, is that they have this forward duelist that's always challenging you. They're taking the space, they're getting their team into that like situation where the experienced players can be the ones clutching.
And it's a dream to see for this team. When you're going against an M80 where everybody's putting them so high up, everybody's putting them as the favorites, and then you have a RETA that is playing locally, trying their best to fight and win against the best, and they're able to get just this map win is massive. You saw all the players hyped up Staribun because you know how much it matters to them. Now the question is, how much further can they push, and can they close the whole series out?
I'm really hoping that we see this kind of performance again in the next map. I mean, they were really just clawing, fighting, tooth and nail, like just heroics from every player. I mean, look at Snowzen. He was phenomenal with that op on the defense side. He kept the op very mobile, and in the end, we can see here like Suther hitting these insane clutches, like back to back. He had a 1v2 on pistol and then a 1v2 on that round right there. It was absolutely crazy.
Were these 30 kills? I'm sorry. Were these 30 kills by Snowzen like the quietest 30 kills we've had in this tournament yet? Because I swear I did not realize he was having such a pop-off moment because of how important the clutches from Soother were. But then you press tab and it's like, whoa, when the heck did this kid get 30 kills? When did that happen?
Well, we noticed it when he had like 27. Like, wait, 1 second, what happened? When did this happen? It's just a constant that doesn't need to be too flashy for a lot of these rounds, but it's just enough to allow RETA to cross the finish line on this map of Lotus. And honestly, it's a team that looked very cohesive, very together from the beginning. We had our questions because this is a map pick of M80 that RETA just took away. So now everybody gets each other's map picks. We're pushed to a third map, and we have everybody fired up and ready, everybody warmed up. One of the players that I wanted to highlight and that we were talking a lot about was Suther. What he was doing, he had 2 big, massive clutches for the team, Staribun.
Yeah, I mean, they were just so pivotal. Like, you would think that M80 is coming back and they're winning rounds, and then Suther just like 1v2 clutches, and it happened again and again. And you had like big rounds from like M80 side too. Like Xander had really great clutches, and you were thinking, wow, they could really take this away. We're so back. And then Suther just shuts all that down.
With the pistol too. This was insane. This was insane, and even this 1v2 as well to close it out. I get scared because it is a Phantom far away. You know where he is. We don't know how he's gonna play out, but Suther, very calm and collected. Roy, he's able to close it out and save those crucial rounds for the team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a 1v3 on the second pistol. Like, I genuinely feel like if M80 had closed out that pistol, 3v1, which is like percentages are just insane, and he was 1 HP on top of that. If the M80 would have closed that out, that might have been the edge that they needed to close out that map in a 2-0 fashion. But him getting that 1v3 on pistol, him getting the 1v2 during that important clutch with towards the end of the second map, or the second half, excuse me, it was just madness to see. And like, you press tab, he only has 16 kills, and you think, oh, he's having an average performance, but the impact is just immeasurable.
It's insane for every single one of the players, and you can tell how much they want to win. But in order to win this match, they need to win that map of Icebox, which is going to be our decider for today. And I don't know what to expect because I'm thinking a little bit of RETA. They're running this composition with a harbor that a few of the NA teams ran in the past. Maybe not anymore, but at some point they did. And hey, Net's team at some point, they were very popular for running that, Roy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the harbor comp is actually really fun on this map because it allows so many layers of like attacking. Like, you have a safer way to take B main, and there's so many different ways of achieving things on the map. And when it comes to the retakes, you also have a bit more of a dynamic wall that allows you to gain space, and you have the cove as well to pressure the spike. But on the other hand, M80, okay, to be fair, it did not look like it was one of their best maps the last time they played this map, but before that, they were looked flawless on this map. This is what, in my opinion, was undeniably one of their best maps. Yeah, they looked a little bit shaky on it with All Knights and Dante Diaz kind of just running them down. But Snowzin's going to really have to step up and fill those shoes of that aggression, of that dismantling that you need to have versus a team like M80.
What I'm the most interested about is to see how this map is going to play out specifically for M80, because as you mentioned, when they went against All Knights, they closed it out, but with that 15-13. Now you're going against the #1 seed of Latin America, the #1 seed that took down All Knights before on this map in a more dominant fashion. So I'm curious to see, Cerebrin, how this is going to play out and how these different compositions play a part in the same way that they did in the first and second map.
I feel like Snow's op is so dangerous. You just never know where it's going to go, because I feel like Icebox is a huge op map, and that impact is absolutely incredible. I'm also interested to see if maybe M80 comes in with like a different or new comp, because, you know, on the last map, we didn't expect that Yoru pick, but now on Icebox, I'm curious to see if they have something else like prepared up their sleeve, you know?
That would be a flex. That would be a crazy flex. From one day to another, from one match to another, which we've seen, by the way. We've already seen it in Ascension. We've seen it in Champions. We've seen in VCT. We've seen teams that are running and practicing different compositions. And I feel like this is up their sleeve for M80. This is something that Happy is very likely to do, Roy.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. Okay, I say that, but I probably still would be surprised. Because the level, the stakes here are just so high. To just have to be balancing 2 compositions at a time would be madness. But again, it is M80. We really don't know what to expect from them. But I do want to talk about the fact that Koala did not have a great series in the last game, and now he's swapping to the Omen, in which he also didn't really have an insane series last time he played Icebox on the Omen. And it's something that's like they need to step up, because M80 made that last match really close, but there were no pop-off players. A lot of the rounds actually came down to just them not securing the important kills, not securing well set up kills. People that were stunned, the people that were flashed, they're just whiffing. And like, you just, against a team that like RETA, who not only has intelligence to fight back against your strategy, but they also have talent, you can't be missing out on those really well set up fights.
Because it's Icebox especially too, you need to get those duels, you need to get those fights. Even if you're running the harbor composition that we talked about, even on the side of RETA, you are depending a lot on that firepower, on those strategies to play out as you're hitting those sites, as you're retaking those sites. That can be so difficult, and that is also one of the strengths of a lot of the teams that we have right now in Ascension State Urban. So I'm excited, because it went from me thinking that this was going to be a 2-0 for M80 and close it out very fast after we saw that map #1, to now, well, anybody can win.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited to see going into this map, because like I said, Icebox is a huge aim dueling map, and from the last game we saw it really came down to like those clutch plays from the players on RETA. So I feel like M80 really has to just like keep it together and not let those numbers advantages slip away from them.
Yeah. And this is exactly what we talked about. Now we have the agent select right on our screens. We talked about the harbor, and we also talked and touched a little bit on the duelist role here for Snowzin. He's going to be playing the Jet as we've seen in the past, but for M80, they're opting for this no duelist composition instead. This double controller, this double initiator, and the 1 sentinel on the Killjoy Roy.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first map of the series where the knowledge gap is closed, right? Like, both teams now have information on each other. They kind of have an idea how this map is played, how they each want to approach it. So there will be a level of mind games that we didn't really see before in the previous 2 maps.
The expectations are high here for both of the teams. RETA just having that momentum from the last map, and on the other side, an M80 that is trying to continue proving themselves as the favorites to win Ascension. But hey, if RETA wins, that is gonna miss everybody's pick'ems, I'm sure. So let's find out if RETA's gonna get the win or M80 are gonna continue being the favorites here with your casters, Uber and Watt.
Vulnerabilities exposed for M80 on that map of Lotus. They can't quite go the distance, and then some big clutches from the youngsters on RETA Esports that get them there instead. But over to Icebox, right? I mean, they're 7-1 on that map across stage 1 and stage 2 of Challengers in NA, and they have that signature no duelist look. They're going up against that harbor composition we've already seen from RETA.
They have played this comp a lot. They've revealed a lot with it. How much new things how many new things can they really bring to the table? I don't know. I feel like RETA should be more than prepared for this right now, especially given they're willing to play Icebox. They know that it's a float for M80. I want to see RETA just ready, you know, as far as having done the homework, ready for the typical M80 plays, how they try to control different areas of the map. It's pretty much the same stuff every time, right? We'll have to see, though. As M80 looks to go towards A when Nags is chilling with the Sheriff. That's a lot of damage through the wall. Forces to retreat, but as Bronzander low and Xander gets cleaned up now. Already Mariz on the flank.
Oh, it's really nicely capitalized upon by Mariz there. They are giving the post plant. RETA with a very aggressive contact push there up through B. Now set themselves towards mid. Surely will be able to flood in through screens. So Zine trying his luck there through the smoke. It's no good though. M80 are ready for it. Always happen to throw down. So leaves him in a 2 versus 2. Post plant is set up. Nismo gets one. Net has to move here. Shock comes in. He's able to get away, but he's low. 36 HP. Mariz knows that one whistles past Net though. Does he know? He doesn't. Mariz comes up. Mariz goes down. Gravity at its finest, folks, and M80 take the pistol.
I like that attempt from RETA. They tried to catch this timing, pushing through the smoke. The paranoia was in the hands of Koala Noob. He was just staring at the wall, but not able to capitalize by actually getting the kills. So close for Mariz at the end there. That shock dart just sidestepped by Net, and the other one sailing by his head. Pretty
massive round.
Pretty straightforward stuff. A good opening from M80.
Yeah, considering how the round started, right? All full map control over to RETA. They pushed up through B. Mariz is able to get involved and find that kill on Zen, who was already low. M80 now, oh yeah, they're ready for a bit of a push up here on B again. This time Koala Noob breaks Nags it instantly.
Yeah, they can afford to slow things down here. There's the signature round 2, Snowzine Marshall. Every single time, you got to be ready for this, BCJ. Head ripped off.
He's jiggling that angle. Probably checking for a close player more than Snowzine set up here. But they've got the util. They maybe have the tools to push Jet off those angles. Nice at a body shot there on Koala Noob. A little no scope to finish the job. Snowzine gets out with 6 points of health. A great start here for RETA defensively. Threatening a Thrifty. As M80 have Xander barely clinging on.
Yeah, using this high tide as a means for repositioning. Snow is so weak. He's ready to take a risk. You know, hopefully, maybe be the point of contact. Even if it just results in him going down, someone could swing, try to trade off of him.
They can't check this. They have no idea he's there. Snowzine gets far more than he would have bargained for. Stingers go to work, and Net is finding himself, and now 1 versus 2. Okay, is he going to do it again? 3 kills for Net.
30 seconds left.
Not a full commit to the spike plant here. Mariz is making noise.
Same opponent as the pistol.
Make noise. Sees Net though. Yeah, just 1 bullet would have done the job there. Mariz redeems himself after that difficult first round scenario. And M80 get thriftied heartily.
I mean, wins it right back. I just want to remind everybody that map 1 Susie was 3-16. Map 2, 30 for 17. And just inflicted that level of damage here. 3k plus the extra additional damage to Net. Bringing him so weak, making it easy for Mariz to clean up. Game flipped on its head already. We're just 2 rounds in. Up top now with the Outlaw. Plenty of targets to one-shot. Aside from Net, who has full armor with the rifle and is able to win that duel.
I love that idea. He must be expecting an Outlaw. Something like that from Snowzine. Great read from M80. Put the raid boss out in front. Make the big investment. Net has definitely earned it so far. And then 2 orbs away from a lockdown to boot. The Killjoy has been very active. Koala is dropped. Nags that was very, very low here, and he's... See that mid player.
Yeah, Nags could have stopped that wingman. Perhaps a little scared to send the bullet tracers through that wall. Fearing that he could have been shot down by someone at yellow, perhaps, but it's put them in a tough retake position.
High tide used here. RETA pretty good at using these on the fly. Suter's got some good ideas. They can flash themselves through at the slow. Probably a mild hindrance. Oh, another multi-kill round for Net, you say? Fair enough. And now he's going to be Nagset, or scurrying off with his tail between his legs, and that rifle clutched in his grasp.
This has just been a story of Net, the protagonist of this game so far, the main character involved in all of the crucial situations. I mean, he just brings the hero rifle into the round, immediately takes down Snuzin, was so aware that he would be up there, so prepared to take that duel. And then the instant flash through from Nismo, pressing forward, scaling together, overwhelming Delzik. Eco's back and forth, Snuzin back with the Marshall, and now Nags, the KJ with the rifle, trying to do his Net cosplay, pushing forward.
M80 now have to be pretty careful on these approaches. That's the kind of angle that, you know, BCJ was jiggling just before he walked into Snuzin's crosshair. So M80 have been using their protocols for that position. Dizzy through the wall, straight into the line of fire for Mariz.
What a shot.
An easy pickup, but he'll be forced out here.
Snuzin now on this flank.
Pretty fast
And
this flank.
finds Net with the Marshall, applying pressure from multiple angles, but dealt with swiftly by Koala Noob. Now they can just focus their attention forward.
And there's Nismo. Beautiful little three-piece from Nismo. After that backstab pressure was lifted, it was just pistols that M80 actually had to deal with. Nismo does it stylishly.
And that allows Nismo to tally up the orbs. Null Command going to be an option here, heading into a very crucial round. It's going to be the full buy for RETA. They continue to deal some big damage in some of these rounds. But that just hasn't been enough. It's still, Net is the main character, gets another first blood as the Killjoy, shutting down Nags. Operator in the hands of Snuzzy, definitely want to point attention to that.
Lockdown still held here for M80, but there's Hunter's Fury on the other side, as well as a Reckoning. Muru is able to stay again out of Dizzy's line of sight. He did that in the previous round. That's what lets him get that Sheriff kill. As BCJ flashed himself through that wall. What is this angle? What are you cooking, Snuzine? The turret being placed for the flank. Net is so diligent. At some point, you think he has to move up. There's no noise being made by Snuzine whatsoever. Most of the action happening on the other side of the map, and Net is not moving. The guy is looking a little different today. Crosshair placed to perfection. Koala Noob also there for a crossfire. Expect Snuzine to be overwhelmed pretty quickly. Notice there's no tailwind active, but he's able to get away with the cloud burst anyway. Somehow Snuzine gets away with murder.
Yeah, just slips right out of there. The recon didn't even ping anyone from Mariz either. In the meantime, though, it's been the initiator duo of M80 that have garnered some control of B main, allowing them to set up for this full execute based around the Thrash. And due to that Thrash, look at the positioning of the RETA players. They were just content to give all of that up, play for the retake with their own Hunter's Fury.
Good positioning here for M80. None of RETA have been able to get in so far, and Zeta is waiting for Delzik to step up. Is he aware of a second player? Naxat tries to tag as he crosses that wall. Spike goes down despite the presence of this Reckoning here. Paranoia also thrown towards Snowman to stop anybody who would push in, but that high tide is up. Okay, so you what? That was across the map, I'm thinking. Nice little pop up there. Still a little bit more work to do. Koala Noob has to go 1 versus 2 here. That was a nice little double, but he's low, so low. No utility left to work with. But Naxat's going to push him solo and gets there. RETA get another one on the board. It's hard fought, but some magic there from Snuzine.
I almost kept Koala a clutch just by accidentally knocking that scroll wheel, going for a little leap in the midst of the fight. That was dangerous for Nags. I mean, what is that angle from Snuzine, though? The updraft up to catch someone late in the round with the blades?
We'll see it on the mini-map here. Yeah, okay. We're not going to get to see it. But you see that X? Yeah, it's right behind Koala Noob.
And that is a crazy way to find the pick in that situation. All the ultimates expended by RETA, but for the result they were looking for, a big round win.
It's a really slow start for RETA today, Wyatt, but they evolved into the team over these last map or so that we expected them to be coming into this tournament.
It's got to be said, the level of play at this Ascension tournament, I mean, genuinely just clears last year. Every region is showing up. It feels like anyone could beat anyone right now. So many people had M80 as a serious favorite, with good reason. But here's the top seed from LATAM, putting them to the test.
Nags it here. On tube Judy. Flash. He gets across still before Zena can remove him. Finally, that net lockdown gets pulled out. Big damage on Nismo here. Okay, down a little bit more, but we'll be sitting at 40. Timing here for Koala Noob. Behind the flash, perhaps, but Izzy check his 6. Suitor's there. Eventually, the flash wears off, but Koala Noob is still able to get his and some free damage through the wall here. RETA say, okay, this is tough. We don't have the time.
Yeah, they've just been delayed far too long. We're never really able to scale forward. That high tide a bit late and did not help particularly much. So 4 versus 4, but forced to save. The safe decision, but the right decision, frankly. If they went for that, they probably would have just thrown their lives and weaponry away, and keeping that off in the hands of Snowzine is incredibly valuable. That is a major win con for this team right now.
Again, it gives M80 a little bit more breathing room here. That push by Koala Noob up into Snowman, a big part of the time buy there for M80. To force a 4-gun save. Rare to see those. Unless Owner's your coach, I guess. But RETA had no choice. Okay, so pretty deep high tide thrown down here. Only Smoke kind of cancels it.
And of course the Dizzy over top to clear close into B main. And oftentimes if M80 want to go for the full B main take towards yellow, they'll have Koala TP as a flash goes back yellow from Nismo, then he'll swing off that, sort of like a pseudo jet dash to get back there. M80 are going exploring, though. They want to try and see what's going on the opposite side of the map, but Nismo strays a little bit too far.
It is wild how much Snowzine is getting away with. Less of like a dominant steamroll of a game for him, but just these little edges he's finding. This great level of inventiveness from the youngster. No, M80 are ponderously making the way up here over towards B. The Viper wall's down, so they can at least Omen smoke and try and get in. The high tide, though, is going to be a bit awkward for them as well. It means the planner is ostensibly isolated. BCJ is cooking something here.
Yeah, patience.
30 seconds left.
Magzet's been around a while, though. He knows about this. And he's even ADS'd in to find the kill. Nothing really working here in this round for M80. And that lead's about to shrink by half yet again.
Oh, I mean, comprehensively dealt with. RETA on every single angle, so well prepared. That high tide timing from Sutsu was very nice. He got that peek, didn't risk taking the fight, knew that just placing that, as you mentioned, to just isolate the planter in that situation really just causes further delay for M80, allows the rotates to come in, allows those RETA players to be posted up on all the proper positions. Lovely round by the defenders. It puts M80 in a bit of a tough spot. Economy is weakening at this point, and Nags has a lockdown for an important gun round.
Yeah, that money's starting to teeter a little bit. M80, obviously, the first 2 rounds credited to Net, definitely getting them there. Big clutch, obviously, in that pistol. It gets clutched right back on by Maurice. These teams been going band for band so far. As the smoke over was rafted now, it's going to be a force back care of the Dizzy. This is going to give some room here to work with. And Magset immediately responds with that lockdown. Cascade even thrown up to allow the fallback here for RETA. And M80 are going to have to do just the same. They do not have the mechanism to stop this, so they're going to have to do it again.
Yeah, and that's the question. Do they re-hit or do they get funneled to B where they op lies and wait? It looks like they do want to go for the re-hit. They're just going to give Net a little bit of safety, prodding back forward silently. But look at this. Everyone from RETA, they're content staying here because of Snowzine's opposition towards B. He hasn't heard a beat over there. No reason to rotate off. Great entry from Xander, though.
Just a straight from Xander was huge there, but Suter finds 2, caught as he tried to get back behind that defensive Viper wall, but Murray's always in there for the trade. Now, Snowzine is a long way away for the time being, but Murray just handles them.
Brother, he just has no fear. Taking both 1v1s, come on. Snowzine is nowhere to be found. He's still on the rotate, was allowing for that stack. Murray's trying to get straight back into the partnership league with plays like that. Crosshair placement, perfect.
Wouldn't that be redemption for Muriz as well? Because that stint on MIBR really wasn't one that allowed him to show his best. I think he actually ended that sort of season as one of the lowest rated players in the league. That team really struggled to make things happen. Maurice is looking nothing like that individual now. The guy is absolutely imperious.
Simple break of the turret to deny some of that passive info gain. B main is taken from M80 or being collected as well. BCJ Thrash now available due to it.
Just light armor here for all of M80. Their economy was in like the 1150s, 1200s in that previous round. Still want to force the issue. Still want to stay ahead. The bank is definitely looking healthy for RETA.
Posted up on B main as M80 are going to explore elsewhere, try and create some presence on A, while that duo of Net and Xander just retain control of B main. Intentions, of course, for M80 to go back there with the spike in that position, though he is far enough back that they could double back to A. Options are open for M80 right now as the Dizzy comes over. Top 0 point as well. Doesn't reveal a thing. No one in the site over on A.
That 40-second timing being adhered to by RETA. They actually throw up a high tide as soon as that 40 seconds comes up. And Snozine gets the first. Not forced off the angle whatsoever.
Yeah, just going to back up now. Teleport across the map from Kualanu, who retrieves that spike. So we're going to be into another retake situation, but Snow picks off Net on rotation deep into the spawn, making it ever easier for them to pull back in here as a unit.
They may need a little bit more from this half to feel good, I think. This is going to break their economy this one round. Worth more. So Xena's back on the scene again. Already 2 kills for him in this round. Would love to stack them up. Thrash V2 sent in the direction of screens here. But here comes Maurice from Rafters. The ping is good on M80. And they crumble.
Just falling apart. Not enough reinforcements on the site to deal with that retake flood back in. The Harbor really excels in a situation like that. Just pair it up with some Sobi util as well. Nicely done by RETA, getting back in the saddle in this game. And I mean, this is just so dangerous for M80. They are essentially hoping that that operator is positioned behind the Viper wall, right? But just slow walking in. You've given Snow the freest kill he's experienced so far on Icebox. Xander down first. Viper utility off the playing field.
So worth, I guess, talking about what we should expect in the coming rounds. Delzik is 1 away from that Viper's Pit. And there's a Hunter's Fury up for RETA. So by no means are they in a weakened state. Their economies are insane. And obviously that was the Omen ultimate used in that previous round. We saw M80 try and hedge their bets. 2-3 split. Try and go for the side that looks a little bit weaker. And they had to commit after Snozine gets a free pick on that B side. They have the ability, they have the util to push off that angle. They didn't really have the agents there. And frankly, Snozine could just repost, fall off yellow. And you saw him actually playing from Nest there. Ready because M80 frankly had 0 map control, had 0 foothold over on that B side. They had to just contact in.
And that's the problem, right? It was the selection of agents that were on the other side. They really wanted to sell that it was going to be there with the combo of initiator utility. But not having a Dizzy
on A, right?
Yeah, not having a Dizzy, not having a flash to go around that corner made it too easy for Snow. So it's going to be a lot of stingers here, though, into this round. Out of the timeout for M80, we'll see what influence Coach Happy has had on this situation, trying to get M80 back in this game. You know, obviously the score line is close, but it's been a string of rounds for RETA. They are now in control.
And they dealt with Thrash pretty handily recently. They've also seen that Omen ultimate come out. Lockdown not so long ago either. So M80 have used a lot of their big tools that would give them a more deterministic winning result in these rounds. 4 rounds on the attacking side probably won't feel like it's enough for them here. Sorry, Raptor smoke. In they come. Dizzy to open the way. Suta unaffected by it, but still can't take Net down. They're going to plunge into Boiler here. Hunter's Fury comes out. Mirror's found one. Naxed also with the Nano Swarm. Able to chunk M80 down. Nismo is very low as well. And that fragment going to slow Mirror's up. Going to guarantee the plant. And now, a post-plant situation in the Viper's Pit. M80 have done a lot with very little so far.
Yeah, what even happened to Nismo there? How did he take so much damage? I honestly have no idea. He's taking point. Okay, what is that?
Could have been worse. Could have been a Viper. So he gets close enough to sniff Xander, but he sees him first, of course. Mariz is just unchanged, baby. BCJ sees him, misses the shot. Mariz able to decay back up to 41. Recon. That does get destroyed. He knows what BCJ is, but this isn't going to come easy. BCJ's not going to give it to him. Backs away, takes the kill, and keeps M80 in the game. An awkward round, a couple of stingers in the mix there for M80, and just a Viper's Pit to work with. But they made magic of it either way.
Oh my god, so close for Mariz. Again, this little tap is just ridiculous. Come on, man. Nismo's just breaking his keyboard in half after that. That is mad. And this was so winnable. He got it to half. He just needed to connect a couple bullets, and that would have been a clutch. Out of the timeout, M80 just back to Icebox basics. We walk up A, the turret covers the flank, we int with stingers. The game is so simple sometimes.
What a day it's been. Mariz had a great showing on that Haven map. 16-14 at the end of it. Okay, Cascade there.
Spike down.
Allows for a trade opportunity, but Snowzine is yet to enter the fray. And he waits in the wings here for what may well be just a Viper wall throw up. It's unlikely that control the util is going to stop him, but that 0 point is an issue. It means he can't just dash away after posting up here. And Koanub has already made his way across to yellow. This gets a little bit more awkward for Snowzine. His angles get a little tighter, and he wants to step up anyway. After he shrugs off the disabling effects, he wants to go in. Koanub ready for it though, just expecting someone to turn up. And this time Snowzine can't create an off-angle opportunity for a free kill.
That is a big risk to take. That is really standard M80 stuff to 0 point that position and have Koala and TP across. Seemed like he was ready for a great shot from Nags. I mean, he's got to get traded there. Xander eventually does, lurking up tube. Not where Nags expected to be traded out from, was ready for another fight forward.
Rotate back to B.
30 seconds left.
It is possible, and that is the intention at this point.
The Viper up still.
Pit. Maybe there's a situation in which he's going to want to pop that if he gets close enough to the spike to have to draw the M80 players in.
Toxin screen down.
Way paved there with that Koalanu play. Pretty standard stuff, like you mentioned, from M80 to get him across the gap. Play from yellow.
Additionally here, Mariz does have the cycle. The recon has come back up, so that will provide some good info. Sending that back yellow will reveal the position of Xander.
Xander makes his presence known there with those shots, but the timing is stellar! Oh, it's perfect from Xander. And M80, the previous round looked questionable at best. And up against a full econ here of RETA, they've been able to blow through them on 2 consequent occasions. And this last round of the half, M80 have got themselves to 6.
That's lovely in the 2v2. Another small thing, but it's net from B main who breaks that recon. So it keeps Xander's position concealed. You can even see Mariz, right? He's peeking, looking for main where that shot came from. And Xander finds the perfect window to just get 2 free spray down kills. Get the lead back in the grasp of M80 at the very end of this half. I mean, it's been so back and forth, both of these teams. Pulling out some insane rounds, some insane individuals. And look at this from Koala Noob. What am I watching? Just off the dizzy, trying to launch, fling his body in with the shorty, huh? What is happening in this server, man?
He's trying to get ahead of the Viper Speed, catch the Viper out and make sure that's not a factor.
It's crazy.
The pit's not a factor anymore. I mean, M80 did chase Belzik out of that.
Yeah.
At great cost. But as Lord Farquad says, some of you may die, but that is a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Can M80 break up the difference here with only 4, make it 3. Snowzine gets in and it's 2. Nismo and net now. And here we go. Here Reaper is knocking on door after door. And net is left in a 1v4, an ill-fated one indeed as Snow finishes the job with a shorty. And it's an even half. That is some this is a banger map so far. Real back and forth stuff.
Absolutely a crucial win for either of these teams to get. Right now, M80 sitting at 1-0 in the group rate, a 1-for-1. This is big for them. Having 2 losses already on the board would put them in a tough spot.
Does he think the Viper's going to be in the pit and so he won't encounter them on the outside of it? I'm not sure.
I'm in the dizzy, almost catching him as well. Listen, it was a bold play. A swift take of B, but just as swift was the retake as we head to the side swap.
Chat, not loving the Shrek references. I'll note that down in my imaginary notebook. Right. Look, I mean, M80, we're dealing with just a rampant operator player in Snozine. He's running back that performance we saw on Lotus. 30 kills in regulation from Snozine. And again, we talked a lot about duelists, that play style, that aggressive look. Frankly, it's hard to calibrate. You cannot truly be a fully consistent player unless you're Icebox, and it's a whole different conversation, I think. But here, we've had 2 consecutive maps where Snozine has been able to get involved. One of the biggest criticisms we had of RETA on day 1.
Yeah, they have been, RETA as well, much quicker at following up Snozine in some of these positions where he's the one taking point. But even when he's not, when he's just the man with the op, the fundamentals have been so much better from RETA today than they were when they debuted in this tournament 2 days ago. That initial game they played against 2G2 game was just such an off day for them, not representative of what they did within their own region to qualify for this event, and was worried that maybe the pressure of being here, maybe some of the pressure on the new guys perhaps affecting them. That doesn't seem to be the case, though, or at least it was, but they shrugged it off. I mean, Snozine has already displayed some crazy resilience just within this best of 3. Bouncing back from a devastating map 1 loss.
Here we go. In our second half here. We're going to have M80 who are looking to make their second win happen here and basically set up a pathway to a guaranteed playoffs berth. RETA, it's been a little bit more of a rocky road for them. But they've prevailed and they've looked incredible in this series up against probably the favorite to win the whole thing here in Monterey. M80 will be on defense now. Let's see what RETA have for us. Snozine out in front. Cascade to shield them in.
And on the opposite side, Koala Noob sent a one-way smoke over towards B main, just to instill a little bit of fear. There could be a push-up, there could be some presence, but that Cascade allows them fairly safe passage to let them break this alarm bot, but they should be getting the spike down essentially for free. We're headed to an honest 5-on-5 retake. Are they going to push forward into Snowman, though? They do want to. Snozine is
so
deep off this high tide. He still has the dash. He's ready to take a fight. Oh my god, spam through on BCJ.
Ooh, this is the part where you run away, Snozine. He got deep, got a bit of damage, but eventually gets run down by Net. Okay, out by Yellow. On ball with Maurice, who does get spotted out by that 0 point. M80 now, ready to play together. Maybe play up through this wall. Paranoia doesn't hit. Maurice does, though. It's a little different. Tells and Suit are still standing here, leaving Nismo in that 1 versus 2. Again, all he can do is try and entreat them to come forward. Has another go at, but what a recovery there. Just as M80 grouped up, pushed up through that wall.
Yeah, that was a great cascade from Suter there. It just denied players from sight, from default, to getting an angle on B main and allowed them that window to shoot at the players that were trying to push back Yellow to capitalize off the paranoia onto Mariz. And Mariz did a nice job just dancing around, getting a couple headshots. Going 1-for-1 was pretty huge there from him too. But it's really the team supporting him when he was, left alone on that island. Ended up being a nice little juicy piece of bait for everyone else to capitalize off of. M80 opting to stack towards B now. Bit of a gamble round 2.
They group up here. Cascade to cover one side of it. M80 just jiggling here. A couple of those shots came through the wall just in case Xander had pushed up to the edge of Yellow. RETA definitely smells something. Yeah, something's a little off. Here they come. So Zine tries to receive him inside the smoke. It's gone wrong, though. Nisman was able to find one with the grenade as well. And Nagzed and Delzik say, we are in trouble. Delzik has to get that grenade, the spike. And he does. He pulls it out. But guess who's waiting over at A? Net in a corner. It's a scary prospect indeed. And Nagzed walks straight into the trap. Now it's up to Delzik to fight his way out of this one. That is a ridiculous Thrifty for M80. The group up, the push through. That's the part that RETA weren't expecting, that aggressive push up on B.
Just the trap play, dizzy paranoia. Snozine tried his best getting the Cloudburst down to dodge those flashes and fight within it. I need someone out there to do a statistical analysis of how much more likely you are to get eco'd on round 2, depending on how many Guardians you bring into the round. I swear it is so much higher. If he had any SMG there, he gets 3. Like, it's just... And listen, it's a long-range map, yada yada, but I swear, man, something about those Guardians just always unravels.
It's fine, though.
You're trying to stave off the eco.
He's bought a Marshall.
Yep, back to all reliable.
It's all going to be okay. And he's probing here. Again, Net is somewhere on the A side. And he's waiting for you again. So Zine steps up and is summarily knocked down. Beautifully done. That was good old BCJ, rather. Lying in wait. And now still, Maxit wanting to step up on A. M80 really slowed the pace down. RETA look unsure of themselves after that aggressive pop, and they know they're coming in with a weaker buy. There have been no edges to find, no angles to shoot.
That was a really nice off angle from Net, even particularly so against an eco buy, because once he takes that first contact, finds the kill, and then falls back into tube, they're not going to have those bullet pen weapons to necessarily kill him. I mean, maybe if you get lucky with the Sheriff or the Guardian, but not going to get sprayed down like you might if there were some Vandals in play.
Tide thrown up. RETA can play from behind it here in this post plant. Dizzy came out. Delzik unaware of that because he's deafened, nearsighted, pinged out, forced back, you name it. He's experiencing it right now. A myriad of conditions, none of them good. And can only play with that Sheriff from behind the wall, but that is going to be a flawless round for M80. And a great bounce back after an awkward landing on the pistol.
That was a great setup for the retake. Even the molly from Nismo being placed into that poison cloud, very likely that someone with a poor weapon would be trying to play close range there, conceal themselves, was absolutely right. It forces Delzik out of there, and then the swarm comes in from heaven, 3 players, and headed towards that default side, towards Generator. Nicely done, just in an instant, they all flood in together.
And would not be surprised for RETA in the coming rounds to look to take attack force here. Things feel like they're getting away from them a little bit. Aldrone there doesn't do too much to rattle the cage. Very passive positioning for Nagsod over on that B side of the map here. Looks like, yeah, Kwanub set up for a paranoia here into the A site from mid. Obviously, his back's been watched by the turret, so not as risky as it looks.
And again, now M80, they are set up close with another kind of trap play. If there was contact taken, that Dizzy's coming up over top. They're going to face from 410 up here. Not going to end up happening, at least too early in the round. RETA very slow, waiting out any aggression, and now taking control of A with this cascade. And the reckoning in as well to hit the site. Look at M80 though, they flooded in here. There are 4 players ready to contend with this.
Yep, and they're about to dance amongst the waves here. Thrash comes in, Snowzine smashed by it, but not in an easily accessible location. Koala Noob is going to have to wait, be patient on this. That was a double catch for that as well. Slightly awkward positioning. M80 not nearly advanced enough on the side to take advantage of it. Cove going to be thrown up. That's going to block some vision over there. It's blown up basically instantly. Nismo bullies his way through it. Delzik low, but still found one on the way out now as the 3 versus 2. RETA with the numbers. Pressure on Net, on rafters. He needs to peer in, but BCJ instead comes alive. And it's up to Suter. Incredible over the course of this series. But has to make things happen here from Nest, and he'll be spotted out and dealt with. Net gets the job done, and M80 stay in stride.
Excellent at just retaking on A right now. The set pieces that they have are so well drilled. A team that's just been together for so long at this point with the core have played this map just a myriad of times in officials. Even with Delzik up top at the rope playing that headshot angle, tapping an extra player down, it's just not enough. Nags got that first blood too. And part of it comes down to the fact that M80 were able to rotate to that site so quickly. They were all there. They had 4 players ready to flood.
Finally some breathing room here for M80. Knowing what they're going up against now, knowing it's going to be an awkward buy, they're going to try and take liberties. Koala Noob, though, can't play that angle to swing it. Requires him to take the slow debuff from that Cascade. So he respects it. But M80 have seen it all. It may not matter. Koala Noob goes down. Op in hand. Nagset deals with him regardless.
2 first bloods in a row for Nags now. You got to expect the Koala Noob is going to pick up that op sooner or later on the Omen, try and teleport around, play some of those positions that a Jet would normally get to. On that sort of pseudo-Jet aggressive roll, here comes the hit. There's so many players from M80 here. So much info gained. RETA are going to commit.
Xana and Net, just the 2 to left. Up against 3, but there it is. The lockdown going to be thrown out. This is going to force a reset now for RETA. Now, like M80, they could just re-hit that site, but they are going to head across the map. Xana might be looking for an opportunity to capitalize on the cross, but he's going to be a little too late.
And Net is looking to book it, but they're going to have this wall available cross right now from Nags. The one player with a long-range weapon, and he goes down straight away, just going too fast. The wall wasn't ready.
It's not enough time for Xana to get in a legitimate backstab position now. Beforehand, it was looking less likely. He's going to be watched for, but this wall lets him get across and get the better of Sither. Now Delzik has to make it happen. Xana on one side, Net on the other. Stuck in the middle on yellow. Nicely done. That is clean with the Guardian. Now cover line of sight on the cross, implied that he may have crossed himself, but instead he's going to wrap around. Xana won't be aware of it. Xana's Decay down inside that poison orb. But he's able to avoid the wallbang shot that Delzik would otherwise have sent his way. Finally, RETA get a little bit of comeuppance here in these clutch rounds. Great way to bring things back.
That was so nicely played with the Poison Cloud going up in the midst of that, just completely throwing Xander off as to the positioning where he needed to work, knowing that it could get dropped as well at a moment's notice and he could get caught in the open or caught on the spike. Love that from Delzik. Such an experienced player, one of the most experienced at this tournament. I mean, he's attended 3 champions, 4 masters in his history with crew.
All right, early push up here for Xander. Looks like that one way. And the slowing effect that's going to have on RETA is enough to make him reconsider that more advanced positioning.
Koala Noob has picked up the op again, playing top yellow.
He still has an
drone
angle
was already used from Mariz, so not going to have that available to force them off the angle if they need to get or want to get into B main right now. And I feel like I keep saying it, but this is such a crucial round if you look at the state of the economy right now. Many players low on money.
And RETA
in particular.
RETA don't have the resources to spend on clearing that turret in mid. So it's not a great option for them unless they're crossing through that poison orb back to B.
Look at the M80 rotation right now. They are constantly stacked up on the right side. And right now it's because of Xander. Look at his forward position in B main.
Nice.
Nismo ready to throw this knife out, deny this utility, get info with the 0 point. Some noise now being made there. It goes. Going to connect up to all 4.
That's going to trigger Xander to get up the starter's block. He knows he needs to get here and make a backstab happen. Killjoy utility be damned. Mariz here hold up for the time being. You notice that M80 have got over towards Jen and they are making it rain, folks. So Zine kind of caught him in this corner, but he gets the timing on Net, though. Net too sharp. Nags able to respond, and Delzik have found 2 elsewhere. But here comes the cavalry. It's Xander on the flank.
10 seconds.
And Delzik, despite having the Viper's Pit, doesn't have the chance to get the plant, and M80 bring it right back to their side. No chance here for RETA to develop some economic stability.
It's just masterful rotations from M80. They are constantly set up for this. Now also, credit to Net. Look at that kill. The movement, the sidestep on that. He should have gone down there the majority of the times to Snowzine. That was a lovely little micro adjustment from him. If he doesn't find that, they are at that man disadvantage. Probably more likely that someone could try to cover that flank where Xander was coming from, or just keep playing within that pit. Can't be understated how high of an impact kill that was from the newest recruit to M80. And since joining this team has just gotten better and better. Winning the playoffs, winning stage 2.
This is going to be tough for Koala Noob. Aldrone and Cascade. The former is definitely going to ping him if he hangs around. So he has dropped off of that position. He got pinged manually on the map by RETA. With that util down, there's another Cascade being thrown out here. This is going to allow RETA to at least imply a move up behind it. Late call for Snozine. Nismo knows! Must have seen a glimpse of Naxet just beforehand. Over the top comes Snozine. Good for one. It's going to take a little more than that, I'm afraid. Now up mid, Delsic has managed to get the hero rifle in this round. And M80 are backed up. They know there's something to foot. They know there's a chance of a push straight up mid here. So they allow for it. Net. Such crispy movement. The left-right strafes. Far too much for Delsic to deal with. It was Nismo ultimately with a kill credit. And Suter at this point would rather have it over and done with. Maybe strip another gun. Not exactly the most flush economy for M80.
Suter with the sheriff.
Oh,
anything is possible.
Don't invoke that phrase. There's that in spawn. That's one for Suter. That's all he's going to be getting here, but M80 crucially gets to 11. RETA now can buy back up. The hero rifle doesn't really get them what they needed in that round, though.
No, it doesn't end the blade storm from Snozine. Could have been very impactful back yellow, but sort of suffering at the hands as well of the comp that they all running, not having any other piece of initiator utility. I mean, imagine if a KO flash pops around the corner there as he's rounding the top, you know. But that's just not available to them.
This was like, why am I getting shot in spawn? Please, we have a kitchen player. What's going on?
RETA taking a tactical pause now late in the game. At another just turning point. This is going to be their full buy. This is going to be their economy on the line. They've been unable to get the spike down. They're not going to get that credit bonus. So much weighing on their shoulders right now. Again, they are 1-1 in the group stage.
Yeah.
The top 4 teams make it through. And if they finish at 1-2, they're going to have to like go very crazy in their last 2 games.
I mean, they have a fated rematch with All Knights coming up next that potentially could decide whether they make it out of groups or not. Wyatt, that is going to be delicious. Last time they played, it was a massive 5-map affair in which RETA had to reverse sweep an All Knights team talking more trash than I've ever seen. And I've seen it a lot. We saw 2G earlier on. It was intense.
And do you want to play against Dante right now?
I don't want to play against Dante anytime. I don't want to play against Dante while he is asleep, while he is in a coma.
He is pretty otherworldly in this tournament so far. So that will be tough for the future of RETA. They still have to deal with...
Aha, not flashing me!
They still have to deal with Galoris.
BCJ. You know, it's serious business when the sunnies go on. I've got to hand it to him. We have to check the player games. I don't think he wears them during the round. I'm pretty sure he'd get a slap upside the head from a teammate there if he's
taking those off.
Hamstringing his ability to... I mean, it blocks blue light, I guess. That's great. I mean, Xander...
Did we go from the tack pause to the tech pause?
Oh, yeah, just the classic little 1-2 punch, little tack into tech
time like
in a
this.
moment. Yeah. We call that little tacky tecker. Yeah.
No.
Yep. Flawless transition, actually.
I just got word we're waiting on updates. The update is we're good.
Okay. You really left me hanging on the update.
I was drawing that out until we got to the game. Try and hit that perfect timing. All right, here we go, Mitch. I mean, again, I'm saying it over and over, but these rounds have all been so impactful because the game is so back and forth. Economy hangs in the balance for RETA. 3 ultimates available. 3 huge ults. I mean, they gotta win a round with all of these, man.
The tech pause, by the way, was a bathroom request from RETA that was summarily denied. So hold on to your bladders, folks. Viper hit at B. Xander, straight chilly. Nobody's going into his swamp.
No, and the site is fully vacated due to that reckoning, due to the high tide cutting off any possible angles to be held by the defenders. M80 are more content to just play for this retake with the ults of their own.
He's been brought down, but Alcoman still in effect. Marie still forced to hold on to all of those resources, but he is just holed up in this corner. Still a plant opportunity now for RETA. Not sure if Nismo's recoverable from here. And you better believe he's thinking about it, but elsewhere, yep, Nismo will be brought down. Job is finished. Dizzy dealt with little aim labs there from Snozine. Not quite enough, though. Okay, this is getting ugly now. Naxet and Suter have to put this together. Xander and BCJ, the high-low set up on rafters. It's an extra player on the site. Wingman also threatening the defuse. BCJ doesn't know which way to turn. Give me whiplash, why don't you? And up comes the 12 round for M80. handled that pretty admirably on the retake, even a player down with Nismo knocked.
These guys they've been playing their TDM. That movement, again, the movement from these guys. Xander, that little sidestep adjustment to kill Delzik. How are they getting away with this? The headshot with the Phantom backside. He was so close to capitalizing on that. One away now, M80. It has been hard fought, more hard fought than anyone would have thought,
Both
especially after map 1.
Both their games have been absolute slugfests. That All Knights game left them looking haggard, black and blue as they walked off the stage. And this one here, no mean feat either.
They are running the LATAM gauntlet and just barely skating by. These teams are legit. They have some serious firepower to contend with. They don't want to keep it simple here. They want to hit A. Look at M80 on the minimap. 3 players pushed out of B main.
Lockdown here hasn't really provoked
4 players even.
Yep. They are all grouped up, staying up late, swapping manly stories. In the morning, Nismo's making waffles. It's about to get real. Off angle! Oh my god, Nexet! Just blows a steaming hole through the entirety of M80. And then all of a sudden thinks, well, now the turns are tabled.
I'm a little bit speechless there for a moment. That one caught me just a bit off guard. That's one way to get yourselves back in the game mentally as well. Net. Oh, Nags, you said, well, let me get that ace.
Tell you what, it's crazy what a good little off angle can do for you. Net at this point, prime directives deny Nagzet the ace. Snowsteen lets himself get shot, and Nagzet comes out with the ace. Beautiful round from him. And all it took was an off angle to stop that 4-player flank. One individual makes a world of difference and keeps RETA alive.
I mean, what a spray down. That was just perfect placement with the crosshair, controlling the spray, the adjustment at the end as well to BCJ. Fantastic from the RETA Sentinel.
Still, though, by no means out of the woods. It was helpful. They kept so many guns in that previous round, though. Don't have to force
out of the woods, but look at M80's economy. It is starting to dwindle. This buy, not ideal. Stinger for BCJ. And Nismo reduced to 300 credits. Obviously, they have 3 chances, 1 round, and they've won this whole damn series. They're going to be 2-0 in the group stage. Prime position if they can take this round to make it into the playoffs, contend for the Ascension spot. They've been working towards for 2 years now, this core.
Such an active rotate here from M80.
Right here.
It doesn't get sniffed out by RETA, otherwise they might have pump faked and doubled back into A. But Xander's gotten all the way up to yellow. Naturally, that's clearable with the utility that RETA still have at their disposal. Okay, there it is. A customary 0 point tells all. Dizzy comes out, but Xander can't capitalize. It was RETA tucking after the flash came through. Snozine deals with the first assailant. Nismo barely gets out alive. Snozine also looking a little bit haggard himself, but this has slowed things up. Now we're trending back over towards the A side here. And that's in a position to punish these rotates. RETA have no choice but to go through this part of the map. But the poison orb here means they can cross.
Yeah, they wanted to meet with Nagzet. He took a fair bit of space. Could have gotten a little bit deeper, was somewhat apprehensive, and that's allowed M80 to get in quite far. BCJ picks up Mariz with a stinger.
Remember, lockdown available here for Net. This could be a problem because time is short for RETA. That's that lockdown being deployed. Mariz had 100 Fury coming to this round, but he's been taken off the map. Snow, though, stands tall and on top of the gen. Deals with one. It's going to be Net on his revenge tour. Net absolutely devastating so far. Low, though, on those rafters as he is. Suka trying to challenge him out. Eventually, Net falls. And there it is, folks. M80 closed things out on Icebox. First half was about as close as you can get, but they really put some ground between them and RETA in the second. When it came down to defense, M80 was superior.
It was not easy. It was not as clean as we expected after map 1. That pure domination from M80 on Haven, on RETA's map pick. But they come back to snatch Lotus away from them and make Icebox such a close affair. But when it came to the defense of M80, you could just see how well drilled they were. Those retakes on the A site were fantastic. Every single round they had to go for that. They felt that they could rely on it. They knew they could rely on it. And it paid off. Able to run away with the game at the very end. Nice string of rounds in a row to get sizable enough lead, take that 13-9, and it's put RETA in a tough position. Moving forward, 1-2 now. They played 3 days in a row, taxing on them for sure.
And that is going to just take the wind out of their sails as well. Hard as they fought with some really competitive series, the win against TSM yesterday felt like a glimmer of hope to them. Then they knew that M80 would be a unique challenge. They turn up on Lotus and they slap them. They look so good on that map. They come alive. And against Nazim has his moment. When we come back around to Icebox after a really competitive first half, like I said, it was 6-6 with some insane clutches on both sides. Genuinely a fantastic series of VALORANT with some unreasonable occurrences, I've got to say. Great to see. It's been a pleasure to cover these games with you so far. Of course, I'm Uber and Wyatt. We're heading back to the desk to break down the day that was and take a big old deep breath.
As Uber was saying, that was a really good match that we just saw between RETA and M80, but it's M80 who get the win at the end of the day. A little back and forth once again between the two, especially in that first half. It ended up being 6-6, but right on the second half, M80, and in the last couple rounds, they were able to close it out once again, Roy, and continue that favorite team.
Absolutely, but I have to say, I have to give credit to RETA because that was a superly even match. And when we kind of talked about and then pre-show about how like RETA will play up to the opponent, right? And I think the matchup here between these two teams, the stylistic pacing just seems so evenly matched in that way, and that's why we had such an entertaining series. But in the end, M80 was the one that closed it out. And I think for me, the biggest takeaway from the M80 side is their composure. They didn't really have anyone on the team that was popping off. Like yeah, there was pop-off moments in you know, some rounds here and there, but overall it was just team play. It was just trading. It wasn't anything flashy. It wasn't like the sexiest VALORANT we've ever seen, but in terms of like macro, it was beautiful. It was really consistent, and that's what allowed them to close out the series.
For M80, it never has to be too much. It never has to be that one player getting 30 kills and everybody else just kind of following back. It's just the overall game plan that works out so well for them, Sterrigan, and we got to see it again today from the first map all the way until the last one. Oh, Sermon?
Hello?
All
Hi.
good, all good.
Hi, so as I was saying while I was muted, I was just talking about how M80 was really putting out a masterclass. Like, all the strats that they pull out, like, they just look so composed and playing together. Yeah. I really love that. And RETA did such a good job. It was really like tooth and nail fighting, and I was at the edge of my seat the entire game. I just really love how composed M80 is, and we were talking about it in the green room where I said that M80 just like picks up each other's gaps. Like, whenever they rotate or leave some other space, someone's really quick to pick it up. They're really fast on the rotates, really quick on the reactions. It was really great to watch.
There's some work that Happy is putting as well, and it's something that is not seen as much, obviously, because we only get to see the players on stage and what they're able to do on stage. But all those ideas that we saw today, all the ideas that we've seen in Ascension and in Challengers all the way back, that has been a big part of what he's been doing and bringing to the table. So I love to see this M80 team succeed, but also, Roy, be pushed a little bit, because that's the level of push that we need to make sure that if it's going to be actually that M80, that favorite that makes it all the way and wins Ascension, they're in the best shape for the tier 1 next year.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know how to say this because they won, but I feel like the level that M80 is playing at today wasn't their peak. Like, it wasn't their best form. There were so many things that they were getting shut down on the openers. They kept losing the openers. That's not something that we've seen from M80 when they were competing in the North American Challengers, right? They were mostly on top of that. But today they were pushing in many ways they haven't been before. They got matched on the duelist. They got matched on the strategy. They got matched with experience, and they really did get pushed all the way to the end.
And I think it's really poetic too, because you're having these two players that we heard towards the beginning, Net talking about Naxxet talking about Net, about the experience and the similar paths that they've had in VALORANT so far when they were playing for that tier 1 team, went down to the tier 2, and now they're trying to make it all the way back, and they're definitely taking their right steps to do so.
Yeah, it's like Roy was saying, I feel like today wasn't really like the best version of M80 that we've seen. I mean, you can really tell in like all the 1v2s in the clutch situations that they were losing against when they've had numbers advantage. I feel like they're usually a lot more cleaner than that, and in their numbers advantage, they're better about winning those rounds. But obviously, RETA did such a good job. Like, the individual talent really like stuck out for them, and you can really tell like they really wanted to win this match.
They look really good, honestly. Even if they lose this map, not anybody can take away a map from M80. And that's something that we've seen in Challengers towards the end of NA Challengers. And that's something that we might continue to see here in Ascension. But Serban, there was a round 18 that you wanted to break down for us.
Yeah, I love round 18. Round 18 was a really good example of just like M80 just taking so much map control, everyone filling the gaps. Like, this is just like a really good round because as you can see, Xander is able to go on that fast flank because he pushed B main earlier to re-clear, and to have someone who's like being able to play such a aggressive controller. A lot of players, when they're alone, they'll kind of like sit back, relax, wait for the majority to make the move. But the fact that Xander, being the alone side and the weak side, pushing up and taking that space alone, allowing his teammates to rotate and stack the other side so they're ready for that hit is just so amazing.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because I think that is where M80 gets their superpowers from, is the fact that every single player on this team is willing to take risks, and they all trust each other to do it. So there's not like, oh, duelist, you need to do this, and everyone else, you need to be passive. Like, no, they're all willing to challenge, or they're all willing to make you fight for your space, and that allows them to take so many leans on their defense side that you wouldn't really have access to otherwise if you were playing the passive Viper, always playing retake on B and stuff.
Are you guys expecting this M80 team to keep bringing these different ideas? Maybe we didn't see it so much in Icebox, but we definitely did see it in Lotus with the Yoru that we had our questions about, and they were able to answer and get some great rounds there. So are we expecting, Roy, for this M80 team to keep changing compositions, keeping everybody at the edge of their seat?
Yeah, I mean, is water wet? Like, that's just the M80 signature, is it not? Like, they're totally down to just play whatever style suits them most. Like, they're not going to bend to a meta. They're just going to play whatever fits them the most. Yeah, they will play meta comps if they need to on Haven, for example. But even when they play that composition, there's still a level of like innovation and kind of creativity happening that tailors to their playstyle and tailors to their strengths and weaknesses.
An M80 team that looks good. They get the win against RETA. We're going to throw it to a break. We're going to have an interview with one of the players for M80. Just a hint, he wears sunglasses. And then we'll come back and we'll talk about tomorrow.
Hi guys, how you doing? I'm here with BCJ. He just won his match against RETA Esports. The first question that I want to ask you is, we were really excited to watch you play Lotus with the last composition that you guys play with that deadlock. We didn't saw that right now. Why? And why did you guys change that composition to what are you playing now?
Yeah, obviously we prepped in. We had really good results in practice, so we were really confident going into that match. Honestly, like, to be honest, I'm still shocked about the result. I thought we should have won that one. So, yeah, it's just something you prep. You know, you take comp changes, you talk with your team, stuff like that. It happens all the time.
Yeah. The second question that I want to make is that he's playing against Galoris. You guys are playing against Galoris the next match. What do you think about them, and how are you guys preparing for that match?
Yeah, we think they're very strong. Obviously, we think all the teams here are worthy enough to be here. So I'm really excited to play Galoris. I love playing against Brazil teams, especially because when I was in Brazil for lock-in, like, their fan base is insane. So for me, like, trying to fend off their fan base that's so diehard and dedicated, like, that's really exciting. And I know they have a really fun and fast play style as well. So looking forward to that match for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. Last question for you. Do you guys believe that you're the best team here in Ascension, and why?
Well, now that we're on the NA stream, yeah, we're the fucking best team here, baby. Like, come on. Like, have you seen our game so far? No, all kidding. Like, we're getting better every group stage match. When we get time to playoffs, we're going to be at our peak form. This isn't the best M80 that you've seen, and I'm here to prove that to you guys.
Thank you very much, BCJ. We are going back to the live stream. We have a lot of VALORANT matches tomorrow, so don't forget to come back here. Bye.
analyst desk has changed a little bit since that interview, guys. Roy, also with the slow turn where what happened? I can't tell exactly what happened for us to all be wearing sunglasses.
It's the BCJ show. The aura was just too strong. They have a Sigma male on their team. What can we say? Like the dude, what can the guy do? He was popping off. He was Odining. He was playing so many different initiators. He was putting up numbers. He was clutching. Like the guy is doing everything. Give him some credit. And I completely agree with him, though, that this, we touched on it. It's like, this is not peak M80. Usually they're firing a little bit harder. They're hitting their shots. They're winning a little bit more trades. They're winning clutches. And today it felt like a lot of things went wrong for them. But the one thing that they'll never slack on is their team play. And it undeniably carried them in this series.
They look really good, and BCJ is just one of those pieces that you can never underestimate because this guy is insane, not only mechanically, but in any single agent that he's put to play, he's playing it almost to perfection in so many of those rounds, being the difference maker for the squad, allowing the duelists to shine more. There's so many versions of BCJ that we get to see, and I mean, hey, he's also feeling confident. He said a couple things. Don't worry about those. We're not going to talk about them. Now, let's talk about the standings, though, to see how things are shaping up for Ascension, because we've mentioned it, a lot of the teams are looking pretty competitive. Everybody's looking like they can win the whole tournament, but it's only going to be one that can do it at the end, Starybun. So any thoughts seeing this now that we visualize it? Does it change anything?
Honestly, I feel like it doesn't. I feel like tomorrow's matches, we could see a few upsets. We could see people like climbing up the ladder. I still feel like it's not set in stone on who like the front runner will be.
Is it M80 though? We just put this on, Roy. Is it M80 still?
Honestly,
let me know.
She needs some reinforcement, dude. No, it's really okay. I will say that M80's style and consistency is definitely probably. This sounds biased, but like it does seem like it's the best in the tournament. But I will say that 2Game has impressed me. And coming into this event, like again, we didn't really have a scale for these Brazilian teams, right? Like, yeah, they're good in the region, but how do they compare to LATAM teams? How do they compare to North American teams? And just the fact that they came out with such a strong start to this tournament is, in my opinion, just mind-blowing.
It feels to me like as long as M80 continue to play and solve and answer those questions that they have throughout the match and also before those matches, they should be able to close it out. But also it seems like if one of those teams is able to put just that tiny little bit of extra work, they could get on top and beat M80. But so far, I mean, they continue to be one of the favorites. 2Game as well is looking really good for Brazil. And I think in Latin America, they've gotten a couple wins, they've gotten a couple losses. So we're kind of right in the middle. But let's talk about tomorrow, because the action doesn't end just yet. Tomorrow we have All Night, who are resting today, going against 2Game, and then we have Galores going against M80. Starybun, anything that catches your eye about these matches? I'm very excited for the first one, I have to say.
I'm excited for the first one too. I think that one's going to be a really like spicy match. So far we've had like really close matches, and I feel like with the first match with AK versus 2G, it's going to be a very close match too. I'm hoping for a few overtimes.
Can I just say that I'm extremely excited for the Dante versus Spike and Silence. Like that matchup is going to be absolutely high octane gameplay. I'm really looking forward to that first match. And of course, the second match, Galores, not having a great start in this tournament, but they still are the #1 Brazilian seed. They're supposed to be the Brazilian representatives that are supposed to push all these teams to their limits, and they're going to be going up against M80. So that will be really fun to watch as well.
And it's also when you have nothing to lose, when you've gotten these kind of results already, when it hasn't been the greatest for Galores, you're going to play like that. Like you have nothing to lose and you're going to go and fight back. So we continue to have amazing matches in Ascension. You guys cannot miss it. Also, a reminder to check out the giveaway that they're giving in on the Twitch chat to get that blacklight chair. As I said yesterday and I said before, you guys want to check out how nice they are, because not only the price, but how comfortable everybody has been saying they are. I absolutely recommend it. So make sure you sign up and you're able to maybe win the ultimate gaming chair. This is everything that we have for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and staying with us. We'll see you tomorrow at the same time and same place.
fix.